So you're asking about AU, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you see how, bomb, 38.2, yeah, continuation of the sell. All right, there you go. Yeah, this is gonna keep on going. So you see how like it starts to boom, boom, boom. It already broke structure on this 1 hour time frame. I see it going to, what happened? So you'll see the fact that, okay, on the 4 hour time frame, point A, point B, point C, you see how it starts to consolidate around here, right? And then from there, what you'll see, if you were to zoom in the 1 hour time frame, you see that price breaks structure, retests, right? Holds that, and inside of here, inside of this section right here, inside of that section right there, I'll also go to the 15-minute, this engulfing pattern right here, that's where you get in. Making your risk right above that wick right there, perfect entry. Because the thing is, it already broke structure in the 1 hour time frame.
So
it's yeah, that's like the safest trade that you can be able to get into.
So we're at the top of the second bearish candle.
So this is the whole setup. So remember, what's the flow of the river? It's the daily, right? So the daily right here. If anything, I'm gonna make this a chart breakdown. So right now what we're looking at is AUDUSD, and what we see here is the fact that we see that it may be a continuation of the of the downtrend that has been clear for the daily. As you can see, clear downtrend, severe downtrend, all the way from about 8,100 all the way to 7,100. From this weekly, just about, to this weekly down here. And what we see here is the fact that a continuation of the downwards move, right? If we were to go to the H4, this is where we're going to be looking for our setups, right? And what we see is point A, point B, price is pushing down for a while. Price needed to make a lower high, right? And it has actually created a lower high because it got it to 38.2. And if we were to go to the 1 hour time frame to actually look for our strike to be able to get into our actual entry itself, right? So let's go back. H4 time frame is to what? H4 time frame is to watch for setups that may form where we could be able to actually get into some entries, right?
That's where you would do your overall price.
So we see the fact that point A, point B, point C, it's a point C because it got to 38.2.
Why is your point A so far away?
Well, that's where it is. That's the only thing that could be, because the thing is, when you learn, as far as when we get to that portion, as far as 38.2, 38.2 is an actual retracement area. Nowhere in here did price reverse 38.2 until it gets to this point. So point A, point B, point C, right? And then from there, right now, price is at 38.2. Let me just scroll in a little on the 1 hour time frame. And what we see here is the fact that price is now making, from what we could see it from over here, we see let's go and do this. All right, what we see here is higher low, higher high. You could say just a low because it tested, it never broke through, just a low. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Essentially lower low, so this is where it actually broke structure, essentially. And when I say broke structure, it essentially broke this area right here, but it wasn't really that clear, but it did, right? So remember how I said price must test first, it pushed up, then broken structure. Test of, retest, the broken area, 100% retracement. Now creating a lower low. Now it's a true downtrend. It tested that last high still, that's okay. Essentially, we would see this actually make this push to the downside. So we could be able to make a small trade for now, right? It would have been amazing if we actually caught up here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull up my fibs. So point A, point B, let's make it over here, right? Point C is that 100% retracement, right? So my first take profit would be this area right here. So 170.8, 170. 0.7008, right? And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down to the 15-minute time frame, and the perfect entry would have been inside. So as we can see, like in the 1 hour time frame, we'll see the fact that this engulfed. Now, before it engulfed, it did other things in the 15-minute, right? But essentially, we're looking for this engulfing pattern to form. So let's go to the 15-minute time frame, right? And do understand, this is where the last high was. So this is the safest trade when price gets to 100% retracement. Safest trade, because the thing is, you can technically just make your stop loss just above that last wick, but make it a considerable amount of pips a little bit above, because there may be a wick that's going to come out of nowhere, right? And as you can see here, if we were to go ahead and draw a random line past that wick, you'll see this wick all the way at the top. You'll see that price doesn't pass that area. So that's why you put your stop loss just above that last wick. Does that make sense? Now, price may pass over there. That's why I mentioned to essentially most times look at your trade 30 minutes to an hour after to make sure that some stupid wick doesn't come out of nowhere. Okay, so essentially you got in on this bearish candle here, bearish engulfing pattern right here. You got in on that sell, right? And then you would have your take profit be that negative 27% area down here. And then essentially that's still a good, say we got in on the next bearish candle, that's still a good push of 60 pips. It's no issue, right? Now let's just say we're looking at the entire 4 hour move to see, okay, where could price potentially go, continuously go. The take profit would then be the take profit would then be negative 27%. So take profit number one would be that area that I was speaking about, which was 0.78, right? So 0.708, right? And the next take profit after that would be about 0.697. But if anything, I'll just push it to 0.698 to make that
So for
clear.
that to be a take profit, that will be your long term.
Exactly, because the thing is, what did it do? Price got to 38.2. Point A, point B, it did its retracement that it needed to do. That's why I wasn't trading anything in AU. I got a little push up, but I just didn't want to touch it too much. Price got to 38.2. That's all I needed to do, right? And I thought it was going to go all the way to 61.8, but being the fact that it broke structure in the 1 hour time frame, I feel comfortable and confident enough the fact that it would, since it broke structure in the 1 hour time frame, it will continue to make lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs. And then also, what do I know about the flow of the river? I know the flow of the river is a very nice downtrend. So with that being the case, I'm comfortable enough that it would stop at 38.2 at its retracement and then continue to go to this negative 27% area, which is this right here. And let me look at this weekly time frame. This weekly time frame also has point A, point B, point C, 50%, and then essentially the entire move at 0.61. See how like each one, you pull out your fibs on each one, but each one is for a reason, right? But then my target is always negative 27%. Most times. The second take profit is 61.8. So essentially, you know how I mentioned, like you'll probably pull out 0.70, right, and let the rest rock?
Yes.
but the rest rocked to 61.8.
So in that 1 hour fit that you did inside of the 4 hour fit, once it hits take profit, will you get back in or wait for the interest?
As far as negative 27%, once it hits there.
On the small one, the intraday one, the 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that small take profit, right?
Oh.
Once it hits that take profit, how do you go about?
Well, I'm entering multiple trades. I'm entering one trade for the for that area. Point A, point B, point C. Entering one trade just to get my pips for the day, my 60 pips, right? To be able to pay my bills. Now, to be able to actually get my actual money, that is going to be a separate trade that will go down to negative 27%.
From the same entry point, smaller lots.
Or I feel confident in this one, so it'll be a good lot size. Yeah. Does that make sense? So hopefully this video helped you out. We're actually doing our training right now for the UI indicator course, and I just saw this, so I'm like, you know what, let me make a video real quick. So if this helped you out at all, if anything like this, leave a comment. If you've learned something, leave a comment if you have any questions or anything like that. And from there, see you on the next chart breakdown. Let's get it. All right. How do I? Okay,